to manipulate elements. So even with knotting, that's what it is. It's all manipulating elements. So this is a favorite piece of mine that was a practice piece, but I would usually make it out of cedar bark. I've learned so many things. I learned how to make boxes the Japanese way. And there's a little message in here. So someone gave me a copy of something that Rico Lebrun wrote to her. And this is what Rico Lebrun said about painting. Finally, he discovered that the passion of things and of their togetherness is that they are mute, in wonder, not in dumbness. The linen cloth, how can it tell its being, a field weaving in the sun before it was made? And the bottle that was specific sand, a million times interrupted by water tide. You can see how this is really close to my heart. And the paper towel roll closed upon itself in spiral mummy secret. The drama we look for elsewhere, exceptionally otherwise, is uniquely in case of disaster, is neither elsewhere nor exceptional but here in the mute array of kitchen things. White pot, red apron, cactus forest of forks, moon plate, sphere of breast breads, mutely wondering at how fiercely they got to be, how forever they are on the kitchen shelf, an interruption in the yellow phrased of the winter sun, and the shadows are the maps of this eclipse on the white heaven of the kitchen wall. And yet some still call this army of astounded miracles photographic reality, and with hardly a look go on to invent their own. A Neapolitan proverb said, "The womb in the hands of infants," by Rico Lebrun. I think it was fortuitous that my mother decided I was not going to go to art school, that I had to be something, and I ended up in a field that I could choose the number of days I wanted to work. I always funded whatever artwork I did through the dental hygiene. I knew that I had to be responsible. I got married in my late 20s, and I hadn't thought much about having a family. And then as our relationship progressed, and we were trying to make a living and get established, my husband was a very creative man too. So children weren't part of our plan. It was more in the future. And so then we reached a point where we decided that it wouldn't be easy to have children and carry on with both of our careers. And so I didn't have any children, and it was fine. But you know, it's interesting, people that like to keep their lives full and active always fill it up. And I didn't have children at my feet, but I ended up filling my life with teaching, and my students became my children. Thank goodness for publishing. I've been had access to a lot of books on women artists, and my best friend, one of my very best friends, was the historian for the Judy Chicago Dinner Party Project. And so she's been very active in equity in the arts for women, and through all of that I've had resources to read about various artists. And then I learned about Louise Bourgeois through my own installation work that I was doing, and then I saw parallels. I've just followed her quite a long time, and I really resonate with her concept of what inspired her work and put it forward. Has a lot of edge to it, where people really, it's in your face. She was so brave, because I know a lot of times I've pulled back. That's the only thing I've done, is I have pulled back on some of my imagery because it's difficult. What I want to say is difficult, and I've been discouraged on that level. Oh gee, don't make it too icky, because people aren't going to want to see it or be confronted with it. But so I've buried myself in Louise's books. I'm aware that I work in a male-dominated society, yet it hasn't deterred me from going forward. And there have been so many changes. That has really, really improved. And
I think that women, equity in the arts for women, and they're fighting for that, has even improved some of the male opportunities to show their art and share their art, and it's kind of made a bond between us instead of a chasm. And I feel that I've definitely received equal acknowledgement for my art, perhaps because of the kind of art it is, and and that I've been fortunate enough to be invited through various galleries that are looking toward three-dimensional art objects. I'm an object maker, so that's made it a little bit easier. Perhaps not, might have been more difficult if I were a painter. As far as how I want to continue my life and achieve more, is to continue with some of the projects I started when I was younger. And it was took a lot of courage. It was just so tentative, and it was terrifying to have, for example, the commemorating our children, strong medicine with the doll project was very, very difficult information to deal with. And I reached a point, that project was going on for a couple of years actually, and I reached a point with it I had to put it down. And now that I've revisited it through this interview, I think I'm going to finish that project. And I don't have any regrets. I feel like I've been fortunate to balance my life this way. I make my art for myself, truly. It's my heart speaking, my soul reaching out, and offering an opportunity for community to become more conscious and see how they can help be part of art. And so I don't have any regrets about how I've managed to get more of my art out there. I think it's a balance that I've had that's made me feel very happy and accomplished. My art means to me that I'm giving back, that I'm sharing, that I'm talking to people. I don't feel like I'm really that articulate in a spontaneous manner. I'm a good writer, but my art means that I can say more, and it feels very gratifying when I'm making art that I'm saying something. Whether or not other people get it or not doesn't really matter to me, because it's so multi-layered, but it is the way I speak best. Being an artist to me means being connected to the entire universe. I've never really liked the pigeonhole of an artist. It's in our English language. It means something, but I've learned so much from indigenous cultures where they don't have a word for art. If you make objects, if you express yourself through art making, that's as important as eating and taking care of your children and maintaining a job, etc. So it isn't separate. So I feel like I've been fortunate to incorporate that aspect of being an artist into my life. But I do feel that it's important to be connected. Being an artist means that you need to be, I feel I need to be aware of everything. It's important to listen to the 10 o'clock news and see what's going on. It informs my art. Everything informs my art. A little stone informs my art. The way, culturally, the way people live in their various cultures inform my art. Design, shadows, everything. So being an artist feels I'm alive. Being an artist means I'm alive.